Since 1966, the Ultraman franchise has captured the hearts and imaginations of fans all over the world. By combining giant kaiju with a superhero premise, Ultraman solidified its reputation as a legendary franchise and an absolute trailblazer within Toku. This video is going to cover every single series within the Ultra franchise, plus all of the important movies, crossovers, and adaptations. So if you want a video to show people who don't know about Ultraman, or if you want to take a fun journey with me through the history of the Ultraverse, this video's for you. So sit back and relax. This is the complete history of Ultraman. Back in 1966, Japan was introduced to Ultra Q, a precursor to the Ultraman franchise that was very reminiscent of the Twilight Zone, but with the addition of kaiju. Produced by Tsuburaya Productions, this unique show would run for 28 episodes and would feature mini kaiju that would reappear and lay the foundation for the Ultraman franchise in the future. Ultra Q would air in black and white, and this early show featured regular people fighting against tons of kaiju. Despite the show being made pretty well, something was missing: a hero. After learning lessons with Ultra Q and improving on the formula, Tsuburaya would deliver the legendary original Ultraman series. Despite not being an official sequel series, this show would take what worked well within Ultra Q, like the kaiju, but would dial up the action with the addition of our hero from the Land of Light, Ultraman. This show followed the adventures of SSSP, or the Science Special Search Party, as they investigate and battle against kaiju. Shin Hayata, a member of SSSP, would transform into Ultraman and battle against these kaiju. Hailing from the Land of Light, Ultraman would employ a variety of different attacks and abilities while in combat, including his iconic arm beam. This legendary series nailed the Ultra formula, and for Tsuburaya Productions, there was no looking back. Following on the heels of the original Ultraman series was Ultraman Monster Movie Feature, the first film release in the Ultra franchise. The majority of footage in this film was reused footage from the Ultraman series, albeit with various tweaks, like certain scenes being in black and white. In theaters, it was screened alongside a Toho film called King Kong Escapes. In 1967, Japan was treated to the exciting follow-up of Ultraman in Ultra 7. This series would follow Dan Moroboshi, who would transform into Ultra 7 and fight alongside the Ultra Garrison against various kaiju. Ultra 7's design was heavily influenced by Mayan culture and was originally intended to feature blue on his costume, but it was changed to red in order to prevent issues with the special effects process. This show featured capsule monsters, and the creator of Pokemon, Satoshi Tajiri, once said that Pokeballs were inspired by the capsule monsters from Ultra 7. In 1970, Tsuburaya released Ultra Fight, a daily TV series based solely around Ultra's fighting. Each episode of the series was only 2.5 minutes long and even featured play-by-play from Jiro Yamada, a professional sports announcer. Ultra Fight was a unique idea that proved Tsuburaya was willing to think outside of the box. In 1971, Tsuburaya released the first non-Ultra superhero series in Mirror Man. Though not an Ultra series, Mirror Man is worth including here because he functions as an opposite to Ultraman, being darker and more drama-focused. 1971's Return of Ultraman marked the fourth series in the Ultra franchise, and it would combine the worlds of Ultra Q, Ultraman, and Ultra 7 into a single connected universe. Hideki Go, our main protagonist in the series, was a race car driver and a member of MATS, or the Monster Attack Team. Hideki would transform into Ultraman Jack, also known as New Ultraman. Return of Ultraman would serve as the 5-year anniversary of the franchise, while also further defining the Ultraman formula even more going forward. Ultraman would continue in 1972 with Ultraman Ace. This series would further develop the shared Ultra universe by heavily featuring all of the previous Ultras up to this point. In this series, two people named Seiji and Yuko utilize Ultra Rings to transform into Ace as they battle Kaiju with TAC or the Terrible Monster Attacking Crew. Ace would continue with the trend of high-quality Ultraman seasons, and the franchise showed no signs of slowing down. In 1973, Tsuburaya debuted a new series with an Ultra that would become legendary, Ultraman Taro. Taro follows the adventures of Kotaro Higashi, a man who nearly dies in a plane crash before being rescued by the Ultra Brothers. As a member of ZATS, or Zariba of All Territory, Kotaro would transform into Ultraman Taro. Taro would fight alongside the previous Ultras to form the 6 Ultra Brothers, and would go on to become one of the most famous and recognizable Ultras of all time. Within the Ultra universe, Taro's name means someone courageous who loves justice, as given to him by the father of Ultra, and the signature horns on his head are a feature that he inherited from father as well. Ultraman Taro was a landmark series within the Ultra franchise, and although Taro's story would be retconned in certain ways later on, this show became an essential watch for fans over time. Tsuburaya also released a show in 1973 that wasn't technically an Ultra series, but was a relatively popular spin-off series meant to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Tsuburaya Productions. This show was called Jumborg Ace. Jumborg Ace was a fun Tsuburaya side project that fans enjoyed, despite not being an official Ultra series. Premiering in 1974 was Taro's exciting follow-up in Ultraman Leo. This series continued the tradition of high-quality storytelling and cinematography that the Ultraman franchise was becoming known for. Jin Otori is the human form of Ultraman Leo, who comes to Earth from the Leo constellation, Nebula L77. This show features Ultra 7, or his human form, Dan Moroboshi to be more accurate, fighting alongside Gin with the group MAC, or the Monster Attack Crew. This show begins with Leo helping when Ultra 7 becomes critically injured, and this first act would ground Leo firmly within the Ultraverse. Leo was another well-made season, and it had become clear by now that Tsuburaya had perfected their formula. Debuting in Thailand in 1974 was Ultra Brothers vs. the Monster Army, before it would be released in Japan in 1979. This film united the 6 Ultra brothers into an exciting and suspenseful film where the sun is moving towards the Earth while chaos ensues. This project kept fans satisfied while the Ultra franchise was on a short hiatus from television. Debuting in 1979 was a unique animated project called the Ultraman, the very first animated Ultra project. This show was produced by Tsuburaya and animated by Nippon Sunrise. Nippon Sunrise actually animated another well-known anime show at the same time, Mobile Suit Gundam, and they would eventually be renamed to Bandai Namco Filmworks. Our main protagonist in the Ultraman is Choichiro Hikari, a member of SDS, or the Science Defense Squad. He bonds to a new Ultra named Ultraman Jonius, who originates from planet U-40. The Ultraman ran for 50 episodes, and it gave fans an entirely new perspective on the Ultraverse. In 1980, Ultraman would return to live action with Ultraman 80, and continue the story from where it left off after Ultraman Leo. This show was consistent with the Ultraman feel, but 80 would develop a vibe and a style all its own that would make it unique among other projects. 80! Taking place 5 years after Ultraman Leo, 80 would focus on a school teacher named Takeshi Yamato, who becomes a member of UGM, or Utility Government Members, to battle the kaiju threat. Takeshi is the human form of Ultraman 80, an Ultra from the Land of Light. Ultraman 80 would also be notable for featuring Yulian, a female Ultra who is a princess from the Land of Light, and this series did an excellent job at honoring the franchise while still delivering a lot of creative and unique elements to the audience. 1984 brought the one-off special Ultraman Zoffi, Ultra Warriors vs. the Giant Monster Army. After making small cameo appearances in the Ultraverse, Ultraman Zoffi would be featured as the lead hero in this special. Featuring all of the previous Ultras, as well as a ton of kaiju, this special was a celebration of Ultraman at a time when the official series was on another hiatus. Also released in 1984 was an Ultraman game for the MSX home computer, the very first Ultraman video game. Following the events of the original Ultraman series, this game let fans play as Ultraman and battle against kaiju. The game was pretty basic, but it captured the tone and feel of Ultraman perfectly, or at least in the best way that a game from 1984 could. The Ultra series would spin off into a kids anime with 1984's Ultraman Kids. This sub-series was focused on a young audience and would result in several different films and series. In 1987, Tsuburaya teamed up with Hanna-Barbera Productions to make an animated Ultraman series for both Japan and USA. This was Ultraman: The Adventure Begins. With a decidedly different look and tone from previous Ultraman projects, this animated film would utilize a similar style to G.I. Joe or Transformers. Ultraman: The Adventure Begins was intended to be a pilot episode of a TV series, but these plans were scrapped and it was turned into a movie instead. This project offered fans a new flavor of Ultraman in much the same way that The Ultraman had done before. In 1990, Tsuburaya formed a partnership with the South Australian Film Corporation to co-produce a new Ultraman series called Ultraman Toward the Future. This series follows the adventures of Jack Shindo, a member of UMA, or the Universal Multi-Purpose Agency, who bonds with Ultraman Great. Ultraman Towards the Future would initially only release on home video and Laserdisc within Japan in 1990, before being televised in Japan during 1991, and later released in the USA in 1992. Despite Tsuburaya's partnership with the Australian Film Corporation, this show did not initially air in Australia. At only 13 episodes, this series was quite a bit shorter than what Japanese fans were used to, but its success would lead to the possibility of similar projects in the future. In 1993, Toku fans would be treated to a groundbreaking and exciting crossover with Ultraman vs. Kamen Rider. This project was a small, self-contained story delivering everything that fans could want from these heroes, including an action-packed story and tons of fan service. Seeing Ultraman fight alongside Kamen Rider marked a milestone within Toku and gave fans a chance to see their favorite heroes in a cool new way. In 1993, Tsuburaya produced a unique Toku project with Gridman, the Hyper Agent. Though not technically an Ultra project, this series was extremely influential to future series, as Tsuburaya would adopt a new kind of video technology for animating special effects. This project became very popular over the years and is definitely worth mentioning here. In 1994, Tsuburaya would create a direct-to-video series called Heisei Ultra 7, a sequel series to 1967's Ultra 7 that would diverge from the established story and exist within its own alternate timeline. Heisei Ultra 7 was originally conceptualized as a pair of two TV specials with a focus on teaching viewers about environmental causes. Several years later, the series would continue as a way to celebrate Ultra 7's 30th anniversary. More entries were added later to wrap up the story and give the series a proper ending. Due to Ultra 7's popularity within Toku, a continuation of his story within the Heisei era was a treat for fans. Rounding out 1994 was an American adaptation of Gridman called Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Think is a servo program. Oh, cool battle armor.
This series was co-produced by Tsuburaya, DeK, and Ultracom. It was distributed by All American Television, which is now Fremantle Media. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad wasn't as popular as the Saban shows in America, but this show introduced a lot of Western fans to Gridman and the Ultraverse by extension. 1995 brought fans in Japan a series called Ultraman Powered, also known as Ultraman the Ultimate Hero within the West. This show is a co-production between Tsuburaya and a company called Major Havoc Entertainment, later known as Steppin' Stone Entertainment. This was only the second live-action Ultraman series produced outside of Japan.
Ultraman!
Running for 13 episodes, this series would take cues from the previously released Ultraman Towards the Future, but would surprisingly never air in the United States. In 1996, after a 15-year hiatus, a new Ultraman project would debut on Japanese television, Ultraman Tiga, marking a fresh and exciting new chapter in the legacy of Ultraman. With an updated look and a new take on the Ultraman formula, Tiga was out to revitalize the franchise in ways never seen before. This show was set in a different universe than the previous Ultra series, offering the writers limitless possibilities for crafting the stories that they wanted to tell. Set in the near future, the story of Tiga focuses on Daigo Madoka, a kind-hearted and heroic TPC officer who later joins GUTS, or the Global Unlimited Task Squad. Daigo's courage, along with the genes of an ancient civilization, allows him to transform into Tiga. Tiga was the first Ultra with multiple combat modes, and this show has remained one of the most popular entries in the series since its debut, resulting in many films and crossovers, plus a full-on reboot years later. Also released in 1996 was a film serving as a parody of the Ultraman franchise with Ultraman Z Earth. Hailing from the land of Bright, Ultraman Z Earth was extremely strong and very skilled in combat, but he would be heavily affected by anxiety. Ultraman Z Earth's name originates from the word zenith, which means pinnacle or peak. He's also a germaphobe who's obsessed with cleanliness. Z Earth would also get a sequel film called Ultraman Z Earth 2, Superman Big Battle, Light and Shadow. In 1997, Subaraya released Ultraman Dyna, taking place 7 years after the events of Tiga, where a new team called Super Guts would battle against an alien race called Spheres. Our main protagonist in the series is Shin Asuka, a member of Super Guts and human counterpart to Ultraman Dyna. This series worked to continue the story that Tiga had started, and Dyna would deliver a plot rich with heart and emotion. (1998's Ultraman Gaia took the franchise in another new direction, as this series would move to a different universe from the ones established in the Showa era series, or the one found in Tiga and Dyna.
Ultraman なんだ.
This series is also unique because there are two Ultras with conflicting viewpoints named Ultraman Gaia and Ultraman Agul, and their power is bestowed upon them by the will of the planet itself. In this series, Gamu Takayama and Hiroya Fujimiya henshin into Gaia and Agul respectively, and our defense team for this series is named GUARD, or the Geocentric Universal Alliance Against the Radical Destruction. This series also featured Takashi Ukaji as Sechiro Tsutsumi, better known to fans of Kamen Rider Oz as Kogami-san. Ultraman Gaia continued the recent trend of innovation and risk-taking by the Subaraya production team, and Ultraman was heading into the 2000s with tons of momentum. In 1999, during the broadcast of Ultraman Tiga reruns, a new hero would be revealed with Ultraman Nice. These short 1-minute TV spots were basically ads for Bandai toys that showcased Ultraman Nice and other characters with unique stories. Ultraman Nice has a transformation limit of only 1 minute, and he is considered a parody Ultra, leading to him being frequently paired beside Ultraman Z Earth. Originally conceptualized as a traditional Ultraman TV series, 2000's Ultraman Naos would instead be repackaged into a direct-to-video miniseries. Set in a self-contained timeline, this show follows the story of Genki Kagura, a member of Hearts, or the high-tech Earth Alert and Rescue Team, who henshins into Ultraman Naos. Ultraman Naos exists in a parallel universe to the Ultra Brothers universe, and although this project didn't receive a full series, it was still a memorable chapter in Ultraman's history. 2001 brought fans another main entry into the Ultraman franchise with Ultraman Cosmos, a series meant to celebrate Ultraman's 35th anniversary. Cosmos was a more empathetic Ultra than most, and he rocked a unique blue color scheme, making him very different from other Ultras at the time. This series follows the story of Musashi Haruno, the human host of Ultraman Cosmos, as well as a group called Eyes, or the Elite Young Expert Squad. Cosmos aired for a massive 65 episodes, making it the longest running series in the entire franchise. In 2004, Tsuburaya looked to reinvent Ultraman for an older audience, and the first step in that initiative was titled Ultraman the Next. This project focuses on a fighter pilot named Sunichi Maki who becomes Ultraman, this time with a way more aggressive and complex aesthetic. Ultraman the Next took the successful Ultraman formula and repackaged it in a cool and creative way. 2004 also brought fans Ultraman Nexus. This show would also be made for an older audience, marking a new direction for Ultraman on television. Focusing on Kazuki Komon, this series abandoned the long-established Monster of the Week formula in favor of longer developing stories that would appeal more to the show's target audience. Tsuburaya originally meant for the series to air in primetime, but they had to settle for a Saturday morning slot, reducing how many people could even watch. Due to the change in the show's format and a less than ideal time slot, Nexus would fail to reach Tsuburaya's viewership expectations and only received 37 episodes. Also releasing in 2004 was Ultra Q Dark Fantasy, a project made to celebrate the original Ultra series from the 1960s. Remaining consistent with the original series' tone and look, Ultra Q Dark Fantasy did a great job at delivering what fans wanted, but it took place in an alternate timeline and it wasn't actually a sequel. In 2005, Ultraman would return to the classic Monster of the Week format with Ultraman Max. Our main protagonist for the series is Kaito Toma, a recent recruit of the Team Dash, or Defense Action Squad heroes. Due to a childhood tragedy, Kaito has a strong sense of duty and justice, and these qualities made him the perfect choice to be an Ultra host as he transformed into Ultraman Max. This series was a welcome return to the classic Ultra format, and fans received it well. Celebrating the 40th anniversary of the franchise, 2006's Ultraman Mebius was a huge and historically significant season, resulting in the show moving to a new Saturday evening time slot. As an anniversary season, this series frequently referenced previous characters and events from Ultraman's history. This show follows Ultraman Mebius as he tries to live up to the Ultraman legacy. Mebius tried and failed to save a man, but used his likeness when creating a human form named Mirai Hibino. As a member of Guys, or Guards for Utility situation, he would join the battle against Kaiju. Ultraman Mebius told a timeless story that honored the franchise's legacy while being unique and modern at the same time. 2007's Ultra 7X was a darker and more adult-oriented continuation of 1967's Ultra 7. Following a man named Jin, an amnesiac who transforms into Ultra 7X, as well as an investigation team named Deus. This series was quite different from the original, despite the similar name. Ultra 7X was a dark and mature reimagining of the 1967 classic. 2007 also saw the release of a new spin-off series set in the Ultraverse titled Ultra Galaxy Mega Monster Battle. This project would focus more on the kaiju of the universe, as well as follow the adventures of a man named Rei. Originally airing as part of a pay-per-view service, Ultra Galaxy Mega Monster Battle carved a unique place for itself within the larger Ultraman universe, and would even continue on into its own successful franchise going forward. 2008 was a huge year for Ultraman with the release of a film called Superior Ultraman 8 Brothers. This movie joins the Showa-era Ultras with the Heisei-era Ultras in a team-up for the ages. Superior Ultraman 8 Brothers delivered with big action and loads of fan service. This was a movie that fans both young and old could enjoy. In 2009's Mega Monster Battle, Ultra Galaxy would prove to be one of the most significant projects in the history of the franchise, as two characters would be introduced who would become iconic within Toku: Ultraman Belial and Ultraman Zero. Ultraman Zero! 7 の息子だ! This project was a continuation of a direct-to-video special called Ultraman Mebius Side Story Ghost Reverse, and this project would usher in an exciting new era for Ultraman. Serving as Ultraman's 45th anniversary celebration was Ultraman Zero: The Revenge of Belial. This film continued the story of Belial and Zero, and even added a cool look for Belial with Galactic Emperor Kaiser Belial. Zero wouldn't be left out though, and would gain access to his ultimate form called Ultimate Zero. As a sequel film, this project delivered what fans were looking for in an Ultraman movie. Tsuburaya released a new film in 2012 called Ultraman Saga, and this was another 45th anniversary project, focused on a clash involving many popular Ultras in a fight against Hyper Zeton. This film was set 15 years after the events of Ultraman Dyna, and featured returning cast members from the series. This film also introduced Ultraman Saga himself, considered a Super Ultraman who is a fusion of Ultraman Dyna, Cosmos, and Zero. At this point in time, the Ultraman franchise was experiencing a golden age in terms of high-quality films that Tsuburaya was delivering consistently. Tsuburaya also released a miniseries in 2012 called Ultra Zero Fight, starring Ultraman Zero. After Zero's rise in popularity, it was only natural to feature him in even more projects going forward, and a continuation of the Ultra Fight series was a natural fit. Ultraman Zero had become a worldwide icon, but it was unclear if Tsuburaya could keep that momentum that they built. In 2013, the world would be introduced to Ultraman Ginga. a slick and futuristic looking Ultra in a series that celebrated the 50th anniversary of Tsuburaya Productions. This series follows the adventures of Hikaru Raido, a member of UPG or the Ultra Party Guardians. Hikaru is a fearless and energetic 17-year-old ready to take on any challenge as Ultraman Ginga. Ginga was a successful series that would affect the future of the franchise in a huge way, and was also the start of Ultraman's new generation era. In 2013, Ultra Q got what was marketed as a sequel season in Neo Ultra Q. Neo Ultra Q kept the same style and tone of the original, but added slightly more comedy. This allowed a wider age range to enjoy the series. Neo Ultra Q kept the spirit of Ultra Q alive. Ultraman Ginga would get a sequel series in 2014 with Ultraman Ginga S. This series continued the story of Ultraman Ginga with many of the same characters, but fans would also be introduced to a prince named Sho who transforms into a new Ultra named Ultraman Victory. Ultraman Ginga S followed up on the success of its predecessor and gave fans an explosive chapter of the Ultraman saga. In 2015, Tsuburaya released Ultraman X. This show follows Daichi Ozora, human host of Ultraman X and member of Zio, or Xeno Invasion Outcutters. The show would explore deeper themes like existence and consciousness. After all this time, the Ultraman franchise still had a few tricks up its sleeve. Ultraman X continued the legacy of Ultraman in a way that was refreshingly deep and well written. "2016 was the year of Ultraman Orb, a series made to commemorate the Ultra franchise's 50th anniversary. This show focuses on Gai Kurene, the human form of Ultraman Orb, as he takes on Juggless Juggler. This season also featured a team of 3 independent investigators called SSP, or the Something Search Party. As a 50th anniversary project, Orb did a great job of carrying forward the legacy of Ultraman. In 2017, the Ultraman franchise returned with a new series called Ultraman Geed, or Ultraman Jido, with the series' namesake being the created son of Ultraman Riku. Asakura is the human form of Ultraman Jido, who despite being the son of Belial, was raised as a regular human and he has a kind and noble personality. Riku is also a huge fan of a Toku character named Dawn Shine. Riku has a unique transformation sequence where he would combine the powers of multiple Ultras. This resulted in one of the most famous transformation sequences in all of Ultraman. Riku also featured the AIB, or the Alien Investigation Bureau, as well as a master sword fighter named Raya, and a man named Reito Igaguri who transforms into Ultraman Zero. Ultraman is memorable. 2018 brought an anime remake of Gridman with SSSS Gridman, a series co-produced by Tsuburaya and Studio Trigger. Running for only 12 episodes, this was a short-lived project, but one that was welcomed by fans of Gridman. 2018 brought fans one of the most unique seasons in the history of the franchise. This series was known as Ultraman Ryub in Japanese, but in English was branded as Ultraman RB. This show follows the adventures of the Minato siblings. Katsumi transforms into Ultraman Raso, and Isami transforms into Ultraman Blue, and they are accompanied by their sister Asahi. This show also has a strong supporting cast, including Ushio Minato, the father of the Minato siblings. Ultraman Ryub was a unique season themed around family that was action-packed and full of heart. In 2019, Tsuburaya released Ultraman Ryub the Movie, a film sequel to the series serving as a finale to the Minato sibling story. This film is most notable for being the debut of Ultra Woman Grigio. This movie capped off Ultraman Ryub's story in a cool and unexpected way. / 2019 brought fans the first Ultra series of the Reiwa era with Ultraman Taiga. This series of course focused on Taiga, the son of Taro, who is a member of the Tri-Squad along with Ultraman Titus and Ultraman Fuma. The three Ultras share a human host named Hiroyuki Kudo, a member of Aegis, or the Enterprise of Guard and Investigation Services. It was a new era in Japan, and the Ultraman series rose to the occasion with Ultraman Taiga. / 2019 also marked the launch of Ultra Galaxy Fight, a miniseries that was distributed online. With short 5-minute episodes, this series was a callback to the original Ultra Fight miniseries, and it proved successful with fans, resulting in the series receiving 2 sequel seasons. Also in 2019, Tsuburaya entered into a joint production with Netflix and Production IG to create an Ultraman anime series. This series was aimed at an older audience and featured visually dynamic animation that proved to be successful, as this series would go on to get 2 more seasons. This show is Netflix Japan's most watched anime of the year in 2019, and due to the wide install base of Netflix, it introduced many new fans to the Ultra franchise. Ultraman continued its success in 2020 with Ultraman Z. This show was aired on TV and the official Tsuburaya YouTube channel. This show eventually would even get full entry to the franchise, and the Reiwa era was starting to be a great time to be an Ultraman fan. Tsuburaya released a miniseries in 2021 called Sevenger Fight, with each episode taking place between episodes of Ultraman Z. This project was another callback to Ultra Fight that gave fans a bit more context to Ultraman Z, while still delivering the entertaining fights that fans expected. 2021 brought us Ultraman Trigger, New Generation Tiga. Serving as a reboot of Tiga, this show featured a lot of the same themes and elements, as well as similar characters. Part remake, part reimagining, this show celebrated the 25th anniversary of Tiga while updating elements to fit more with the current day. These included slight variations in names like Trigger instead of Tiga. In this series, we follow the adventures of Kingo Manaka, a plant-loving botanist who joins a team called Guts Select. This squad is loaded with charismatic and memorable characters that would contribute to the show's overall quality in a huge way. Kingo is actually Trigger himself because before the events of the show, he condensed his light and became a child. The story was deep and interesting and involved 2 of the coolest Ultras in the franchise with Carmira and Dark Trigger. Ultraman Trigger celebrated Tiga while also retaining a modern and cutting-edge feel to the show. In 2022, Tsuburaya would co-produce a film with Toho and Kara Inc. This project was called Shin Ultraman, a reimagining of the original series. This project would commemorate the 55-year anniversary of the Ultra franchise and would also join the Shin Japan Heroes universe alongside Shin Godzilla and Shin Kamen Rider.
Ultraman Deckard! Last time!
2022's Ultraman series was Ultraman Decker, a direct sequel to Trigger that was also the 4th series in the Reiwa era and also a 25th anniversary celebration of Ultraman Dyna. Although this show is a sequel to Trigger, it actually takes place quite a few years later with a different protagonist named Kanata Asumi. After entities called the Spheres attack Earth, Kanata joins Guts Select, and the groups return to the series. Ultraman Decker was another excellent reimagining of a prior series, and also an exciting series in its own right. "2023 was the year of Ultraman Blazar, marking the 60th anniversary of Tsuburaya Productions. Ginto Hiruma is the leader of the Scarred, Special Kaiju Reaction Detachment, who becomes Blazar. Featuring a blue crystallized scar on his face, Blazar was one of the most unique looking Ultras of all time. Blazar was a cool and exciting season that really leaned into the sci-fi aspects of Ultraman in a way that we hadn't seen in years.
Ta-da! Ultraman, the ultimate babysitter.
2024 brought another Ultraman project on Netflix, this time an animated movie called Ultraman Rising, focusing on a baseball player named Ken Sato who transforms into Ultraman and cares for a baby Gigantron. Due to circumstances in Ken's life, he has to overcome his own demons and become a hero.
Ken, she thinks you are her mother.
Ultraman Rising was Tsuburaya and Netflix's attempt to create an animated Ultraman film for the whole family, and fans received this project well, opening the door for similar projects in the future. The Ultraman franchise continued in 2024 with Ultraman Arc. Ultraman Arc follows Yuma Hise, an investigator of a group called SKIP, or Scientific Kaiju Investigation and Prevention Center. Using the Arc Ariser, Yuma transforms into Arc. Ultraman Arc looks like a very early Ultra, but form changing results in him looking insanely futuristic and unique. It's a nice contrast. Ultraman Arc has continued the incredible legacy of Ultraman, while adding its own unique elements to the formula at the same time. For 50 years, the Ultraman franchise has been at the forefront of Toku, and the Ultras themselves have become some of the most recognizable and iconic characters in the world. With a unique blend of Toku tropes like Henshin heroes and kaiju, Tsuburaya created a formula all their own. Ultraman's specific brand of fiction has become known worldwide, with passionate fans all across the globe. 2025's Ultra series will be called Ultraman Omega, and Ultraman continues to deliver high-quality shows and films with no signs of slowing down. But hey, that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments, and continue the conversation within the Shogunate, the official Acrimony Discord server. A place to hang out with other Toku fans and discuss Ultraman, Kamen Rider, and Super Sentai to your heart's content. Links in the description, I'll see you there. And if you enjoyed this video, it would mean a ton to me if you would smack the shit out of that like button. But that's all I got, I'll catch you guys later.